The sun was setting over a golden beach, casting a warm glow across the waves as families relaxed and children played along the shore. It seemed like the perfect peaceful evening, until a moment unfolded that would turn a simple day into a story people would never forget. Among the beachgoers were two of the most famous football families in the world, enjoying what was supposed to be a quiet break from the spotlight. But when legends are involved, even the smallest moment can turn into something unforgettable. It started innocently. The kids were playing together near the water, laughing, building sandcastles, and kicking a small football around. At first, everything felt lighthearted and friendly. But as the game became more competitive, emotions began to creep in. Messi's son, confident and playful, pulled off a clever move and scored a small goal between makeshift sand markers. He celebrated with a cheeky grin, turning toward Ronaldo's son with a teasing comment that sounded harmless, but carried just enough edge to spark something deeper. The words were simple, almost like any child's playful taunt, but they hit differently. Ronaldo's son paused, his smile fading just a little. Around them, a few people noticed the shift in energy. What had been laughter just seconds before suddenly felt tense. Messi's son laughed again, not realizing how far the moment had gone. For him, it was just a joke. For Ronaldo's son, it felt like a challenge. He didn't respond right away. Instead, he quietly picked up the ball, stepped back, and tried to show his skills. He dribbled, attempted a trick, and took a shot, but the ball missed its mark. The laughter returned, louder this time, and although it wasn't cruel, it was enough to sting. That's when everything changed. Watching from a distance, Ronaldo noticed. He had seen that look before, the mix of frustration, determination, and pride. He stood up slowly, brushing the sand off his hands, and walked toward the kids. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Conversations nearby quieted down. Even the sound of the waves seemed to fade for a moment as people sensed something was about to happen. Ronaldo didn't say much at first. He simply placed a hand on his son's shoulder and looked him in the eyes. It wasn't anger, it was something deeper. A message without words. Then, with a calm but confident tone, he said, "Let's show them." What followed was something no one expected. Ronaldo stepped back and picked up the football. He looked around the beach, scanning the environment as if it were a stadium. The soft sand, the scattered rocks, the gentle slope near the shoreline, everything became part of his mental map. Then he dropped the ball and began to move. At first, it looked like a simple demonstration. A few quick touches, a controlled juggle, a smooth turn. But within seconds, it escalated into something extraordinary. His movements became faster, sharper, almost unreal. The ball seemed glued to his feet as he weaved through imaginary defenders, each step precise and powerful. People started gathering. Phones came out. Whispers turned into cheers. Then came the moment that changed everything. Ronaldo stopped, took a deep breath, and placed the ball on the sand. He looked at his son again, then at Messi's son, and finally toward the horizon. The air felt charged, as if something bigger than a simple beach game was about to unfold. Suddenly, he sprinted forward. What happened next felt like a scene straight out of a futuristic movie. As Ronaldo struck the ball with incredible force, a burst of energy seemed to ripple through the ground. The sand beneath him shifted, glowing faintly, as if ignited by the intensity of the moment. The ball soared through the air, leaving behind a trail that looked almost like fire. But it didn't stop there. Behind him, something even more unbelievable began to take shape. The energy from his movement seemed to gather, forming lines of light that twisted and fused together. Within seconds, a sleek, glowing structure emerged, a bike, unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It looked as if it had been forged from pure lava and energy, radiating heat and power. The crowd gasped. Ronaldo turned toward it, completely unfazed, as if this was all part of the plan. He walked up to the bike, placed a hand on its surface, and in one smooth motion, mounted it. The engine roared to life, not with a mechanical sound, but with a deep, rumbling energy that echoed across the beach. Messi's son stood frozen, eyes wide, no longer laughing. Ronaldo revved the bike and took off, leaving a glowing trail behind him as he rode along the shoreline. The speed, the light, the sheer spectacle, it was beyond anything anyone could have imagined. He looped around, performing impossible turns and jumps, each movement more breathtaking than the last. Then he stopped. He stepped off the bike, which slowly dissolved back into particles of light, and walked back toward the kids. The energy faded, the beach returned to normal, but the impact of what had just happened lingered in the air. Ronaldo crouched down next to his son and handed him the ball. "Now you try," he said. This time, everything was different. Ronaldo's son stepped forward with a new sense of confidence. The earlier frustration was gone, replaced by determination and belief. He dribbled the ball, not perfectly, but with heart. He attempted a trick, stumbled slightly, but kept going. Then he took a shot. The ball rolled into the makeshift goal. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't flashy. But it was enough. The crowd erupted into applause. Messi's son, who had been watching silently, stepped forward. For a moment, it seemed like he might say something again, but instead, he smiled. A genuine smile this time. He nodded in respect and gave a small clap. The tension disappeared. What had started as a playful jab had turned into something much bigger, not a rivalry, but a lesson. A moment about resilience, confidence, and the power of showing up when it matters. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the two families returned to their places on the beach. The crowd slowly dispersed, still buzzing with excitement, replaying the moment over and over in their minds. People would talk about it for days. Some would exaggerate the details, others would debate what really happened. Was it real? Was it just imagination fueled by emotion and admiration? No one could say for sure. But one thing was certain. It wasn't just about a joke, or even about revenge. It was about proving something, not to others, but to yourself. And in that moment, on a quiet beach turned into a stage, a simple game of football became a story that would be remembered far beyond the sand and the waves. So now the question remains. Whose side are you on? Team Ronaldo or Team Messi?